So today we're going to host a webinar to talk about the application process to apply for some of our graduate programs. So we'll start with introductions. From there, we can talk about admission requirements, and then we'll dive right into talking about transcripts, test scores, and other parts of your application, statement of purpose, letters of recommendation, what happens after the application is submitted, and we've got some time at the end for some questions. So next slide. So I am Libby Miller. I'm one of our graduate advisors in the Interpro office. You can see the programs that I work with there are master's programs in power engineering, manufacturing systems engineering, engineering data analytics, and then 2 capstone programs in power conversion and control and artificial intelligence. So I'm working here with Karene Cary, my counterpart. Karene's your go-to for questions about engineering management program, polymer engineering, sustainable systems engineering master's programs, and then the capstone programs associated with those programs, including powertrain electrification. So in our role as graduate advisors, we work with students from the time that they are prospective students onto the time that they're current students and graduating. So with a little exception, I will say for prospective students in the engineering management program, you may have worked with Pat. So he typically works with prospective students until you apply, and then Karene will be your go-to from there. So yeah, getting started, you can move on to the next slide. All right, so if you're in this webinar today, chances are you're thinking about applying, ready to move forward with that process. So for most of our programs, we offer start dates in fall, spring, and summer. There are a few exceptions to that. So if you have questions about your individual program, always feel free to reach out to us. But for most of our programs, we do a rolling admissions process. So that means that once you have a complete application on file, we should get back to you with a reply about your admission status, and hopefully about 2 weeks is our goal. You can see the deadlines here for the application process. So the next available start date is summer 2025 for many of our programs. The application deadline for that is May 1st. Otherwise, all of our programs are admitting for fall 2025, and the deadline for that is July 1st. So what a complete application will look like. You start with the online application. There are different portions of that. We'll need to see a copy of your resume or CV so we can learn a little bit more about your professional background. We'll also look for a one-page personal essay. And the things that we'd like to see in this essay, Karene will talk a little bit more about, but we want to hear a little bit more about you, your background, your interest in the program. And this is also a chance, let's say you may have a GPA that isn't quite at that mark where we like to see it as the admissions committee. This is a chance to explain reasons why that might be, or explain something that you think the admissions committee would want to know about in consideration of your application. So we will also look for a copy of your transcripts. And then in the application, you will put in contact information for 3 recommenders. So we will reach out to the recommenders, get that recommendation for you. Once everything is on file, your application is complete. For most of our programs is when we do that rolling admission, and we get back to you in about 2 weeks with your response. One exception is the power engineering program. That program, we do an evaluation once the application deadline closes for the semester. So we can go to the next slide. So I mentioned first step in the application process, go ahead and submit that online application. There's one link at the top for the master's programs. That second link is if you're applying to a capstone program. From there, you will connect with a graduate advisor. That'll be either myself or Karene, depending on the program that you're interested in. And we'll have the committee review your application and get a response to you. So one exciting thing about today, your application fee for the master's programs, we're happy to provide a coupon today to waive that fee for you, but it is actually already free for capstone applicants. So you'll just want to go ahead and send us an email and to that gradadmissions@interpro.wisc.edu. With the program you're interested in, we can send you over that application fee waiver. So this slide here, this shows a link to our guide pages. So we've got a QR code here. If you're able to just pull up this link on your phone, guide is kind of our catalog, and this is where you're going to find all the admissions requirements about our programs. You can also see more about our curriculum and course descriptions. But this is a good way just to do a check on your own and just see, do you meet the admissions criteria? It's also going to outline your deadlines and due dates for admission, and I believe application materials as well. So this QR code should pull up for kind of our broader program page, and you can navigate to the program of interest from there. So that's a really good resource. I think this next slide, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Karene to talk about the details of the application process.
Thank you, Libby. All right, so the next part of this webinar is going to be more of a step-by-step screenshot of the application with a few little tidbits thrown in about specific details you may or may not already know or need to know as you go through the application. Once again, my name is Karene Cary, and I'm a graduate advisor. So to begin your application, you're going to go down to the apply button and you're going to click apply. You will then be sent to the application portal. You will either sign in if you have applied in the past or created an account if this is your first application. If you are a UW-Madison student, you will click on log in with NetID and use your UW-Madison information to sign in. A pop-up box will appear and you will create an application, which is circled in yellow on the screen. From there, it will take you to the graduate school's welcome page. Make sure to read the sections on this page: graduate guide, application fee, applying to multiple programs, and questions or issues, and then click continue. You will then select application type. The majority of users will be selecting not currently enrolled and not a reentry student. If you're seeking to select switching programs or reentry students, you should speak to your advisor since the process for these two situations are different and require different things. If you can't find the right program, make sure that you're selecting the term that you are trying to apply in. For example, sustainability does not start in the summer. So if you are trying to select sustainability and you select a summer term, you will not find sustainability. There may be different application deadlines depending on when you apply. So make sure that you are looking in the box to see what date and what time of what term you're applying for your program to make sure that you are meeting the deadline. If you have questions, please reach out to us because there is a little bit of leeway sometimes with our deadlines, especially if you've already started to apply. On the screen, you're just going to add your employer information. Part of the reason we have this screen is for information that we collect further down the line after you've been admitted for our US News and World Report information. This section is going to have all your educational background information. You're going to add your undergraduate institution information, your major, and your transcript by clicking the Add button. Once you click the Add button, a new institution window will come up. In this window, you will upload a PDF of your transcript by clicking the Browse and selecting the file from your computer. If your institution is not listed, you can select Unknown Institution, and the graduate school will add your institution to the list. Upload unofficial transcript. The graduate school will require official transcripts if the department recommends for admission to the program. In this section, you will need to provide English proficiency test scores if you are an international student. Our programs do not require GRE scores. However, you can submit them if you have taken the test. To submit a statement of purpose, you will have to go to the Statement and CV tab and click the Browse button and select a file from your computer. Some best practices to consider as you work on your statement of purpose are included in this page as well. You want to think about, why do you want this degree? Why UW-Madison's program? How do you plan to succeed in this program? Keeping your statement of purpose under a page in length, and make sure to fill in any gaps on your resume or in your education history and elaborate on any projects you've done. What we're looking for is a student that is going to enjoy our program, bring a different personality to our program, and be successful in our program. We want to make sure that not only do we admit people, but that all of our students graduate and that they enjoy their time in our program. For letters of recommendation, it's best practice to ask your recommender before sending them the forms. Make sure you've gathered the materials they might need to write the letter of recommendation, such as a resume, to help them during that time. And give them a deadline because so they know how long they have to write that letter for you. A screen will pop up when you get to letters of recommendation. Here you will enter the contact information for your recommender, and your recommender will receive an email from admissions@grad.wis.edu with instructions on submitting the letter of recommendation. If you have an application fee waiver code, such as from watching this webinar or attending this webinar, you will be able to enter it under funding. It's not shown specifically in here, but you can also see under program participation that highlighted application fee grants, where you can click and you will be able to find links to where you can enter your fee waiver code. So the code is not entered at the end where you might think you would pay, enter and pay for the application. It's entered in the middle of the application. And then, of course, your standard end of the application questions that you are going to have to answer, and your signature. After your application has been submitted, it'll be reviewed by our program's admissions committee. You will then receive an email from either Libby or I regarding the committee's decision. We will then send your application to the graduate school for a final decision. And then the graduate school will send you their decision. And if admitted, you will receive an email with next steps. And you'll be talking with us and the grad school as we continue to matriculate you into the system and help welcome you and onboard you into our programs. If during the process you have any technical problems, please contact the grad school. If you have any questions or problems or concerns or anything you want to know about the programs, Libby and I are always here to answer them for you or connect you to the right person. So please feel free to reach out.